Okay, it's 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order. First is to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and second to adopt the agenda. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Then we'll move on to number 3, approve the minutes.
I was embarrassed, so I motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Then we'll move on to the park financial information.
The first page on the park and financial information is our capital funds. The fees that you see that have come out of the first line there are for the trail on Baton Street. We have a current balance of $65,000 in that fund. That is our park acquisition and development fund. The lower fund, there's a park capital fund. The $125,000 was for the playground equipment at Booster West. And we have a current balance in there of $103,658. We are expecting another draw out of that account for the rest of the Booster Trail plan out here that we're working on. We have the trails built and ready to go. We're waiting on the quotes for the paving project from the paving companies. There's a chance that they might be too backed up to do it this fall. We might be doing it next spring, but it'll come out of that account there, so that's funded for. On the next page is our operations budget. We are at 72% for the year, so we are ahead of schedule. Right now, everything will start to slow down too in this fund because we get less grass mowing, less park usage. So we should have plenty of funding in that account to finish out the year, barring any crazy snowstorms for the winter, early in December.
Well, it is almost Halloween.
Yep. Does anybody have any questions on the park maintenance operations budget?
What is the professional service fees? What is that exactly?
A lot of times that can be engineering, it can be some legal stuff. That comes out of that account. Mainly it's engineering.
Okay. And then I have a question about the new trail. Are we putting a gate on this side?
There is a double swing gate already there, a walk-through gate. On the east side you're talking about, or the west side?
Yeah, where we just put, it looks like a driveway,
Coming into Booster East or Booster West?
Booster East.
That one does not have plans for a gate down there.
Because we have increased vehicular traffic through Booster East now,
Driving on the trails?
everywhere. We've got ATVs speeding through, we've got trucks, we've got cars. So I'm just curious if they're coming from there, if they're coming from the maintenance building.
Well, we use that road to access Booster East a lot, but
It's on the weekends.
oh, no,
That's not you guys,
No.
for sure.
no. If you see that, just call the deputies right away.
Well, they're usually speeding through, so you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way they would be
It'd
able
be pretty
to catch
gutsy to come from our building, that's right where the deputies sit.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was surprised when I watched the one kid. I was like, huh, you must have been watching, because then I saw the driveway, or not, its entry. So I was just curious if we were planned on putting a gate
We
there.
did not have plans for that, because it's basically just going across the grass to get to the trail.
The trail,
portion.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll watch, but,
Where are they? Are they cutting through to get out to 224th or?
yep. Or to get to the parking lot. Sometimes they'll go
Oh, sure.
either way. I know we had one time talked about on 224th, they're putting posts in to kind of curb some of that. But, I don't know what we want to think about that.
Is this you're talking about this right over here?
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought I would just bring it up. I didn't know what the plan was. All right, that's all I have.
Any other questions on the operations budget?
building repair, what was that?
Those are repairs to any of our park buildings, some of our vandalism issues with, playgrounds come out of that. So if you have to replace a slide or something like that, that comes out of there. I'm not 100% sure what all those items were on there. Whenever we have an insurance claim, we have to pay for it out of this budget, and then it gets reimbursed, but it doesn't come back into this. It makes the city's budget whole, but it doesn't show up on here. It's kind of a weird accounting deal they have here, but, so we actually pay for it out of here first, and then it gets reimbursed to the general fund. Yep.
Motion to approve reports financial.
I'll second.
Motion's made and second to approve park financial. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 5, Anderson Meadows Park dedication.
Item 5, Anderson Meadows Park dedication. Consider recommendation on park dedication for Anderson Meadows. The plat consists of 10 buildable single-family residential lots on 40 acres and will connect Gia Street and Oak Brook Acres and Durant Street. With any platted property, the Park Commission can recommend 10% of the land be dedicated to parkland or recommend a park dedication fee in lieu of the land. The park dedication fee is determined by 5% of the fair market value of undeveloped land, not to exceed $2,000 per acre. This amount has yet to be determined for this property. Oak Brook Acres is located, Oak Brook Acres Park is located directly to the south of the proposed development and consists of 10 acres of undeveloped parkland. Staff is seeking a recommendation from the Park Commission to City Council on acceptance of parkland or park dedication fees for the proposed development. So attachment number 1 shows the initial plat location. If anybody's not familiar with this, this is Oak Brook Acres off of Durant Street on the, I can show you on the overhead map real quick too. So this is the eastern border of East Bethel. And look, what we're talking about here is Gia Street. This is Durant Street, which turns into Wild Rice Drive. So it's this 40-acre parcel here. The second page there is the platted layout for the property. So it would connect this temporary cul-de-sac coming through here out to Durant Street with 10 lots on there. Item 2 on your attachment shows the location of our existing parks. We have a 10-acre undeveloped park right here in Oak Brook Acres. We looked at trying to get a trail in here, and most of this, you can kind of see the line here is where the high ground starts, and this is all really wet through here. This is all drainage ditches to help keep some of the water out of there, but springtime, this is pretty wet back in here. We do have our engineer working on a design for a trail to connect these two cul-de-sacs, but they've come across some problems with the Anoka Conservation District crossing this. If it's considered wetland, it might have to be an elevated boardwalk type trail instead of a natural trail, and the price went just through the roof to do that, so.
This is the same neighborhood that came to us a couple years ago and wanted to put in a park, right?
Oak Brook Acres did. Well, they wanted to see some stuff done. We had that petition from the development.
And they wanted to do a walking path so they could do a circle through their neighborhood.
The initial people that came in wanted playground equipment, but at the meeting, nobody wanted playground equipment. They just wanted a passive walking trail through there.
This is also the area that the mayor said he didn't want to do anything with a few years back.
I don't recall that.
I don't think you were at that meeting. That was one that Bill and I were at. So, just so you're aware. I mean, things could change now that it's expanding. But I do know that the neighborhood wants a walking path, for sure.
Hey, were you from Brook
I
Acres?
don't want to walk back.
You don't?
We are the circle right here. It's
What?
pretty so intrusive.
Can you guys, would you mind filling out your name and
Oh, yeah,
going up to
sorry.
the microphone?
We're not sure on the
I'll just have you fill it. Just state your name, your address, and then write it on your official record.
So are you saying that the people on the other side want a walking path?
I guess,
I
I
think
don't
on
know.
GS
Put one
Street.
over on their side, you know.
Because we are right,
Yeah, I am right there and she's on the other side.
right here, so we are actually. the
Let me pull it up on the other map, it'll make it a
Sure.
little easier.
Sorry, we're not familiar with.
So there's just a tiny little sliver that they'd be coming through, you know, so it's just like,
And it's extremely wet, like you were saying, in that whole back portion.
I signed us.
Can you guys say your name just for the, so we know?
I'm sorry. This is Brett and Danielle Schweitzer.
Hi, thanks for coming in tonight.
And Misty Caskey.
So we're not real sure either what the neighborhood's concern was not being able to get through the neighborhood because you can easily.
I think they just wanted it to be circular, like you didn't have to go out to Durant or Wild Rice Drive, you could just walk the neighborhood.
Okay.
So, just so you guys are in this cul-de-sac?
Yes, this is Brett and my home, and that's Misty's home.
Okay.
We're just here to express our
love of
opposing views.
privacy.
Yeah, one of the reasons we moved into this neighborhood is that it is a very private lot,
Sure.
and would hope to continue the privacy there. And like you said, a lot of, not a lot, but a portion of that is protected wetland, so.
Protected by the DNR or?
Yeah, it's wetland, so it's, yeah, state protected.
When we moved in, that's what it said.
On our plots, we can't,
You guys probably have some in your backyard too, right?
yeah, we can't even put any structures in our far backyard because it's.
Is it designated shoreline? Because that's what my yard is.
I'm not sure if it's short, I think it's
No,
designated wetland.
No, I think it is wetland.
Okay.
It's not on this one.
Yeah, and there are flags back there that show designated wetland.
So do we just need to send out a letter and have everybody come together and decide what?
Well, for tonight, we just need to decide on Anderson Meadows, whether or not we want to take park dedication land, or if you want to do park dedication fees.
So has that development been approved to move forward, Anderson Meadows?
We're going through it right now, yep.
Okay.
This is probably the last step before it actually gets good to go. They've put up the silt fence and started some of the work in there already. There was, full disclosure, there was a plan at one time that whenever this big property got developed, that they would take this piece of property on their side and make one big park.
Right.
But I think that decision was based on being able to use this area. It's just so wet down here that it's not very usable.
That's really not.
So our staff recommendation would be to just do park dedication fees for this and not take any more land. We already have 10 acres that's
Anderson Park
undeveloped.
is across the road.
Yes,
from Durant.
but it's up to the park commission to
Right.
decide.
So, I'm sorry, where is the closest park to this?
It's that one where you go down Durant and the tennis court is in front and it looks like a jail, like it's.
All right, let me find this.
Here it is,
Oh, there we go. Okay, so where's the closest park to that?
So this is the Brook Acres development. There's a park
And in that neighborhood.
right here.
Yeah,
So this is Anderson Lake Park,
And there's also one.
and then there's Whispering. Oops. This is a park right here.
Yeah, that Anderson Park has a baseball field and tennis courts, basketball hoop inside the tennis court.
Yeah, that's the one, that 10-acre parcel. It's undeveloped right now.
Is there another park in there somewhere?
No,
This is Whispering Oaks, though, off of,
yeah.
15 there, where you go back and they have tennis courts, and we put in the adult
Yeah.
equipment, and, yeah. And you can zip right past Anderson, because there's not a big sign, and we changed it, there's a sign there, but before that, we just zip past it.
So the question was, what park fees are used for versus park land dedication? So whenever platted property comes into the city, this is true for just about every city in the metro, they can take park land as kind of for the good of the community, or they can take park dedication fees. In our case, we take 5% of undeveloped land, or 5% of the value of the property before it was developed. That money goes into this account right here. So this is park dedication. So far this year, we've had $14,000 in park dedication fees. So that goes to helping build parks in other parts of the city, or making improvements in existing parks. So we used some for, we finished out a trail portion, that money went into that. We've got a whole 5-year plan that we do every year that sets aside where that money goes. Yeah, that's a good question. This fund here is from taxpayer money. This is from the general fund. So this is transferred from what the city receives from taxpayers, and that money is used for parks as well.
Just to be completely honest, you guys improved the Anderson Park, which is lovely, but we drive past it probably half a dozen times a day and rarely see anybody using the park.
It's in kind of an awkward location.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we put a new sign in there to help people see that it's there, and
it looks nice.
other than Booster Park, a lot of our neighborhood parks don't see a lot of use that they used to. Kids,
We used to when our kids were young, but
yeah. And neighborhoods go through cycles where they get older and the parks see less usage. Just about all of our neighborhoods go through that, and then we'll see the grandkids start using them again. We have that in a couple of our really older neighborhoods where the
makes sense.
original residents want to see improvements that no one's used for a long time, but now grandkids are using the parks.
Well, in my opinion, we'd be far better off taking park dedication fee versus land.
You wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to do park dedication fee versus acquiring any more wetlands.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second to take park dedication fees instead of, land. Any discussion?
Do we know about how much we're gonna get, Nate,
I don't, nope.
approximately even?
Steve, do you have any idea what that is yet?
Well,
They determined a number?
If you use 5% of the land value, it's about 16,000.
I think they're still ironing out all those details, so.
That's the 5% way, and then the other part of your ordinance says not to exceed 2,000 lots. It's in there.
I would put it at 20, so somewhere in that ballpark.
Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 6. Our garden, little garden.
Thanks for coming, everybody. You can stick around, and you want to hear about Pollinator Gardens? Or?
You might, save the bees.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming.
Thank
Come
you.
in. So that last item will go to city council on a special meeting on Monday night. I think that's the last item they needed for the meeting, and we can proceed with that development at that time then. Item 6.0, consider approving and recommending a pollinator garden in East Bethel Park. Staff have been contacted by East Bethel residents who are members of a local 4-H club and are looking for a location in a city park to install a pollinator garden. A pollinator garden is one that attracts bees, butterflies, moths, hummingbirds, and other beneficial creatures that transfer pollen from flower to flower, or in some cases within flowers. They often contain native plants and wildflowers that do well in the local soil and climate. The proposed pollinator garden comes as a kit that the 4-H volunteers would purchase and install. Is approximately 5 feet wide by 10 feet long. The volunteers would be responsible for maintaining the garden. The public works staff could help water when they're performing other tree watering operations. The pollinator garden benefits plants and trees that require an external pollinator, but it could also serve as an informational tool for visitors to city parks. Staff is seeking approval for the pollinator garden and a recommendation for a location. So in your packet there's an example of what it is. Actually, they sent me a quick little video I'll play for you too, just to show our multimedia capabilities that we have. It's pretty simple design. I think they're kind of designed for maybe more high density areas, people to put in their yards. That's what they kind of show in a lot of their examples, but I think it'd be a good interpretive informational tool, maybe one of our parks. This one is this is the small one. I think it's 5x5. Kind of similar to what we see in like a rain garden planting.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple.
Yeah, there's not much.
I wish my flowers looked like that when I planted them. Is there somebody here to?
No, she couldn't make it tonight. They had a prior engagement that they couldn't be here, but
So
they didn't have a specific park in mind.
How much would the city be involved in maintaining it, do we think?
I'm gonna try and stay as little maintenance as possible. Basically, once it's in, we'll be mowing around it, and then when we're doing our watering, we'll just water it too. So we looked at some parks that might need, there's a lot of neighborhood parks, but a lot of them already have a lot of wildflowers around them. Like I was saying, like Northland, there's a lot, that big prairie behind there. One thing that we kind of thought of maybe putting it up kind of where the old schoolhouse was in Booster East, so if there is, bees and stuff that are away from where a lot of people are. We have planted a bunch of apple trees up there. They keep dying, but deer keep eating them. We gotta fence them in, but maybe keep that area as a.
What about like Rod and Norma Smith Park?
Right out front.
Or what about by the East Bethel, welcome to East Bethel sign, because that is just all weeds now, right? But there's a garden space there.
No, we had some volunteers replant all that this year.
Okay.
So that's being maintained. We did, if you haven't noticed too, there's a new sign on there with the actual.
Is the hair in there now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's green.
I've only been, oh, well. It looked like a ghost because there
It
was
was a ghost
nothing there,
before, now it's-
except a
yeah.
red patch.
Yeah.
That was a decal that somebody peeled off.
Where you can water it.
Yeah, that's kind of why we liked Booster up on the back corner of Booster East up there, and people would be able to see it and maybe kind of get an idea about it too, where people are actually around the park. I don't know.
I mean, in some of those other parks, you probably aren't over there watering.
No, we don't. The only thing we really water right now is Booster East and West and the trails, or the new service road down there. We have a bunch of trees we planted we have to water.
Right. How would we keep it so that people aren't destroying it?
That's an issue everywhere with everything we
Right.
do.
I'm just saying that if it's out in the open like that.
Yeah, that's a possibility that it could, I think they're like $150, $200 or something, I think they.
I know,
they're-
but for a little 4-H club, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. We'll hire you to be a park
I'm
police.
already maintaining traffic. What more do you want? That's probably the best spot.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Could just try it and see what happens, I guess. Let them
I
know
know.
that, you know, what they're getting into.
Yeah,
I mean, it is off the beaten path, so it's not, you'd have to intentionally have to walk over there to
Right.
do something to it.
we still have all those horseshoe pits up there that
Right.
they don't need any use anymore. Everybody plays bags.
If it happens, an hour later, you can have it all torn out of there, if it all gets destroyed.
Yeah, it can be cleaned up pretty easy.
Start mowing over it again.
And then we could go to your backyard and get some plants, and we can get some plants from my yard and donate.
But you know,
Yep. I don't know, what kind of plants do you have, Stacy?
Weeds?
Purple flowers.
Do I need a motion or what?
Yeah, we'd like to have a motion, and then I can give them the official word to the
I'll
4-H
make a
club.
motion that we put it up there and he's,
with
Boosters.
trees.
yeah.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to, put it on Booster East. Any discussion?
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Any, discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes. Okay, then we'll move on to number 7. Wanda.
You're on, Wanda.
You're up.
I'm up. Do I really have to come up here?
Yep. It's official meeting. so.
Official meetings, I like it. I like it. I'm Wanda McLaurin. I am your new city council liaison. I was sworn in to replace Shelley on August 30th, I think. So I don't have a whole bunch of information for you. And I guess what I'm asking is, how detailed information do you want? Do you want every little thing that goes on, or do you want just the big overall, the important things that affect
You like
all
the
of us?
big,
The high level, you want the high level?
unless it directly affects us, then.
Yes, unless it directly affects you. Okay, we can handle that. That's really good.
Also,
Most
community,
of us all read minutes anyway.
Yeah, they're out there so you know what's going on. I think I have introduced myself. Denise, I have met before at previous things. I introduced myself, except Sue, I didn't. I apologize, I didn't get up and come up.
That's
But
okay.
I am not new to the city. I was on EDA for a while. I was on Planning Commission, chaired the Planning Commission, and then when that position came up, got appointed to that position. So I've been around the city for a while, 6, 7 years, I guess. Helped with Booster Day Parade a couple of years, so I'm not new to that.
that's right, I'm her mentor. No, just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. One of them, yes. Yeah, that's where I got all my bad habits from. But as far as what's going on in city council, I can give you what happened in the last month and some things that are upcoming. We have gone through the zoning, planning and zoning, and we've gone through the zoning ordinances and made a bunch of cleanup type things, recategorize some things. We made a Coon Lake zone. What we did is we took the little properties along Coon Lake, the tinier ones, and made them their own zoning area. And the reason that was done is because it helps with the setbacks. It cuts the setbacks back. The standard setback is 10 feet. These little lots now have a 7-foot setback on either side. And the reason we did that is it'll allow people who are now trying to replace septic tanks and all those things down there that are starting to go bad, little easier for them. They don't have to come in and get variances if they fall into that category. They don't have to pay all those fees and things. So we tried to do that. That has been approved and done. The other big news, and I'm sure most of you have already heard, is we have a new animal control officer. It is now Mark Anderson, and what is it called? Northwest Animal Control, and they're out of Andover. Nothing changed in the way things are going to be done, except now it will be Mark instead of Tammy. On the agenda or on upcoming items, there is the town hall meeting on November 3rd. That will be, of course, next door. And then the other thing that's on the agenda, if anybody is interested, is Thursday morning at 7:30. The chamber is hosting a breakfast at Route 65. If you're a chamber member, your breakfast is free. If not, I think it's $7, I think. But Michelle Benson will be there if anybody wants to hear Michelle Benson, and then Steve will give, Mayor Voss will give a state of what's going on. And then the last item that I know of is on October 29th, and I don't believe we have a time yet, will be the ribbon cutting for the new Sand Hill Parkway, which is the new road, the new frontage road south of Viking that's going to come up with the new development in there. So those are the items that I have for you for the month of September. And I look forward to working with you guys.
Have you ever
and-
had a ribbon cutting on a road?
Yeah, we have.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we
I've never been here when a road's been new, so.
We did one for Taylor Street that goes back along the East Bethel Senior Apartment or Senior Living area, that road there. We did one on that road. Yeah, they're ahead of schedule. I think they're going to leave the ribbon cutting for that date, though. They haven't picked the time. They just finished the wear course on it today, put the final pavement on there, so.
It's drawing a lot of attention. People
Yeah.
are asking me what's going back there. They're pretty
People are
excited.
asking a lot of questions. It's on it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But my number is there. If you have any questions, need any information, want me to do something, let me know. I am available. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda.
Thank you. I have a couple additional things. Is that right? Can I do that?
Absolutely.
Some of the cities are looking at dark sky designations, because you know the federal government has designated some parts of Minnesota as dark sky so that you cut down on light pollution. Do we want to look at something like that for some of our parks, where you cut back on putting lights in different parts of the city? So if you want to do stargazing or something like that.
Yeah, it's up to the park commission. Something they want to pursue.
Is it necessarily not putting lights in, or is it putting different style lights in that? like-
Cutting back on lights so that if you want to go out and look for meteorites or meteor showers, you can go.
But have you seen what they've got at like the end of a town, north end of a town? Drive up there sometime, that's pretty cool.
What do you got?
There's light right there on the corner and there's none anywhere beyond it.
Right, well, I drive down Baton.
I just didn't notice it until the other night when I pulled up there and it was dark.
Well, because there's also been problems with people shooting that blade out, so.
What kind of neighborhood do you live in?
Very busy.
Just,
I'm just saying that that's something that people are looking at right now is light pollution.
Yep.
So if we want to get ahead of the game, if that's something we're interested in looking at, or. before it's too late. I know since we've moved into our house, if we look north, we can see Isanti perfectly, the sky.
It's all lit up.
Yep,
There's a glow to the south too.
right,
That's how I always want to get closer to home.
based on the lighting.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's necessarily, I was reading a little bit about that, it's not necessarily not installing lighting, it's installing.
Just being aware and trying to head it off.
And when we do our neighborhood lighting, we have very few neighborhoods that have streetlights in them. But one that does is Viking Preserve, and part of the design for that was kind of like the one you're talking about, where they're designed to only shine down and not spread light out so much. That's part of the city's design standard for those two. But, yeah.
Well, I know, for instance, they just replaced my security light in the yard, and it used to light up the whole Bleakman neighborhood, and now it's straight down and kind of catches the front of the.
Is that where you
fence.
interrogate your kids? Sit here, Max.
Well, it's good to know he was around.
And then the other thing I had was, I was going down Baton Street, and there was a couple walking, and they were using the trail, which I'm like, yeah. But then they kept walking down Baton Street, so they were in traffic. So can we put like a sign or something that says to Booster Park, or something so that they know they have to turn, not just keep walking down Baton?
All the way out to
Where did they
221st,
turn to?
at 222nd, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Down that far?
Yeah, well, they just walked into traffic then, because the trail stopped. They didn't know, like, if you turn, you can,
Well, you can't get through there
Can't
right
get
now.
through
You have to continue down Baton at least to 222nd right now. That's
We
part of the
turned
issue, yeah.
226,
so do we
there's
want to,
nowhere
or
go.
look at continuing the trail?
I
I mean, I
would
think,
say continue the trail.
right. So is that for next year, or?
Well, I mean, we've got it, we don't have it.
My concern was
all
we
that
had
far.
people walking their dogs on Baton, which is what we were trying to
We've got
head
a
off.
lot of traffic down Baton, people and cars. And the sight lines, quite frankly, are terrible coming out of my neighborhood.
Right,
So this is Baton. Right now, the trail stops at 226, but this is just a horseshoe cul-de-sac. We had talked about, this easement that goes through here as a connection point, but the recommendation was to continue down Baton to 222nd. Then you come back down the neighborhood street and into the park that way. So right now, from 226th to 222nd, 4 blocks is street walking. So, I mean, we do have, that's part of that plan that we've been talking about that we're trying to get through at some point.
And we had talked about that connector off of Yancey there and got a lot of opposition.
but you know what, the people that
They're-
were most
they're-
verbal of, some of them have moved away.
Some of them are not living there anymore. So,
And technically, if somebody wanted to, they could just walk through here in the woods.
yeah.
It's public, I mean, it's public property.
Oh, thick in a couple spots.
Yeah. But this is a public easement through here. This part's wet.
But it would really be nice to see that continue down the town.
Right, something, I
We
mean,
have the easements for that already in place.
Easements are already in place, and really it's
The only difficult spot is
Yeah.
right here by Eldon Hench's
one
place.
more wetland.
well, I thought he gave his
Well,
land
this
the
is a
first
big,
time around.
this is a big pond right here.
It's wet there.
Just like the one we just went around up on the, up here. It gets expensive having to go around these things.
Right,
Very, very similar in size and how close it is.
Up close to the
street.
road, yep.
That one actually might be a little longer.
Yeah, it could be.
anyway, I just thought I would bring it up because I've actually seen it happen where we have pedestrians in the middle of traffic that, I also saw a kid riding down the middle of 221st the other day that I had to go around him because, of course, we don't have any room for them to ride on the site.
Well, it's
Right,
Now we just need it to connect to something.
right. I just wanted it on public record that I'm watching it being used and we need to move forward.
It's funny, the people who will come through our neighborhood and go up that segment, and then they come back and they walk back down.
Well, it's safer.
And we see a lot more young kids, families, and a lot of dog walkers. Far more than we were used to seeing.
Well, I think once you have, like, when we put the trail in back here, the traffic increased immensely. And people were walking their dogs, they had kids riding their bikes, you had people
Doing what we want.
roller skating and, you know, all that good stuff. Except for the geese. I could live without them.
I think once we get this Booster West stuff done too, that'll really make a nice couple loops you can do if you're walking or
Right.
rollerblading or whatever.
Well, I know when my kids play baseball, my kid, actually only one, the moms would walk around the outside of the fields in the grass, but that's not fun. Anyway, that's all I had. I just wanted to bring up. And how nice it is to see everybody's actual faces, not just this little square.
Is this your first meeting back since?
Yeah, I missed the last one. I was up in the woods when they did the
Well,
park
welcome
visit.
back. It is nice to be in the chambers instead of.
We had we had a live meeting out in one of our parks. It was our last
The
meeting.
last meeting
Yeah.
was, I understand, I did see
That had a pretty big turnout to that meeting. There was a lot of people.
Well, I think, you know, maybe the good side to everybody having to be home is they actually had to use the stuff they had in their neighborhoods, and people probably didn't notice before what was going on. And now people are like, you know what, I really like this park.
We got a lot of good comments on Booster West playground out there. That thing gets a lot of use, so. On, what was it, the Booster Day, there was people all over that thing.
that. There were people everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, even the new equipment in Booster East is getting used a lot more.
Yeah.
That is all I have for now, till next meeting.
Any other committee have anything? Nate?
No, just that we're getting the quotes for that paving out there. I'm hoping to get it this fall, but like I said before, it might be in the spring project. We're gonna get all the dirt leveled out here. Actually, tomorrow we're gonna finish that up, so. Get it at least looking nice if we can't get it paved this fall. The contractors are kinda trying to squeeze the rest of their jobs in this year, so. We got kinda behind on our guys working on it with some other stuff, so. But we did all that work in-house. We saved a bunch of money on it, doing it that way too, so.
Any bets on getting it done tomorrow?
Tomorrow's gonna be a washout. And that's all I have as well.
Well, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried.